Now, as you guys know, I did raise the car up on the coilovers quite a bit so that it's not so low during winter months. And yeah, these run flats do suck. These Dunlop sport tires, whatever they're called, they definitely suck. So looking forward to getting that done, getting it all lined up. All right, guys, here we go at the alignment shop, getting it done. It looks like the toe in the front was just a little bit off. We're correcting that now. Doesn't look too bad, does it? The front was just the one that was a little bit off.
It's literally perfect right now.
Nice. So guys, the alignment, actually, I didn't even need an alignment really. I could have waited another 4 to 6 weeks, but this is the part of us not knowing. So either way, we got it done. The toe arm in the front was just in the red. That can still wear out a tire depending on how much you drive. But as you guys can see, that was really the only issue. The rear camber is minimal. Toe is in spec. In the front, the camera is just natural camber from the car being lowered. As you guys know from the factory, these cars also come with like a negative 0.8 camber in the fronts, and that's fine. So that's 1.4 on one side, 0.09 on the other, and that's just from, like I said, natural camber from the car being slightly lower. And the toe was just a little bit off right there at -18, and then we fixed that. That was literally the only fix. For a few bucks, he actually didn't even charge me the full price for the alignment. So looks like we're good. Another 4 to 6 weeks, and we're gonna lower the car and get that realigned just to see what changes. All right, guys, we just came from recycling oil, so now we're pretty much just gonna get that, recycle the bottles. But believe it or not, that is actually my first time recycling my oil that came out of the car, and yeah, that's a first. I guess it's a first for everything, right? So I'm glad we can do that. We don't have to hurt the environment by throwing them away in the regular garbage and whatnot. So recycle the bottles at home. So let's get home and get some more work done. All right, guys, so now we're back in the garage, and last time that I did the fuel filter install along with the flex fuel kit on the for the fuel system in order to run a E85, I didn't like the way that filter fit in the end, so we're actually gonna swap it out today. All right, guys, and here is our new filter. It is a Deatschwerks DWFF70 dual filtration filter, and pretty much the reasoning behind this logic is I had to educate myself a little bit on more on the E85 side of things, and you know, what are some of the downsides of running E85. So as I learned recently, I know E85 was already hydroscopic and attracts water, but I did not know that it also attracts metal contaminants. So this fuel filter has some parts in it that attract those metal contaminants, and it traps them inside so that they don't get to your fuel system, so it doesn't damage those pretty fuel components that are so expensive, like the high pressure fuel pumps. Also, just so you guys know, I'm going to be using a different sock in my low pressure fuel pump side. I'm going to be using a Walboro sock. Thanks to some recent developments and research from some of our core members here in the INFINITI community, they found out that actually running the Walboro sock is a little bit better in terms of preventing cavitation and fuel starvation. So that being said, we don't know if the stock fuel sock is the exact same filtration type as this Walboro one, so that's even more reason to run your fuel filter, which is why I'm going to be doing it. Now, last time we went through installing this fuel filter, I told you guys that the way to relieve the gas pressure was just to open the gas cap. That was wrong. Like I said, I'm not always right, so I'm learning just like you guys. So what I'm going to do today is something else that was suggested by another member, and that is to simply disconnect the low pressure side fuel pump and start the car till it starves out of fuel a couple times, and that should do it. Otherwise, you're at the mercy of disconnecting the 52 fuse from the IPDM by the battery. To get access to the low pressure side fuel pump, what I'm going to do is simply remove the bench there and lift up the two tabs underneath the bench and pull it off. It might be kind of dark in here for you guys to see, but the fuel pump low pressure side is on the passenger side in the back underneath the bench. So we're going to remove those bolts right now and get this off so that we can unplug it. Now, when you guys get to this step, notice how there's this little weird cover covering the third bolt. The bolt's right underneath there. That has a nut the same size as all the other ones. So what you want to do is grab a crescent wrench and undo the nut instead of trying to break the tab like I just tried doing on there. So be very careful, but just bolt it using a crescent wrench, 10 millimeter as well. Let's take this off. And there it is. Let's go ahead and disconnect that, and then we can try to starve in the car out of fuel so that we can go ahead and change this fuel filter. Very important, guys. The harness, when you unplug it, as you can see, there's a black O-ring around it. That's to prevent water from getting into that connection. So you want to make sure you don't lose that O-ring at whatever cost. Make sure you keep an eye on it. All right, so we're gonna fire up the car. Let me open this garage door and let it run out of fuel. There it goes, and it died. Now what I'm gonna do is just start it up a couple more times, make sure that there's no fuel in there, let it run out. That was one, so I'm gonna do one more time just to be sure. And it's dry. Now we just disconnect the battery. Something that I always do when I disconnect the battery, maybe in and out of the car, I lower my windows down a little bit. The sound that this makes when it hits this, if the window's all the way up, if you're opening and closing the door, I cringe every single time, so something to keep in mind. So just my luck, my gas is running out, so I'm gonna be doing this install pretty cold. It's like 20 degrees in here. Alright, for you guys who have seen the video, there's nothing much to this. What I'm going to do is disconnecting this connection here and that connection over there. We're going to actually be swapping the location of the filter pre-flex fuel sensor, and that should only take a couple of minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect that back there so I can do this side here away from all that wiring harness and all the intakes and all that good stuff. Also, guys, make sure you guys have some rags to pick up any fuel that might spill. You want to be very careful that you don't have any spillage over your ECU wire harness or anything like that. Even though fuel evaporates and stuff like that, the smell of fuel alone is enough to drive me nuts. So just make sure you have some stuff ready to clean up any mess that might happen. Ooh, yep, that's exactly what I was trying to avoid. As you guys saw, quite a bit of good fuel pressure that just came out. So I'm gonna leave this here standing up and put this off to the side. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the other line to pretty much free up the flex sensor completely. So just make sure you guys have some protective eyewear. I know I'm not wearing any right now, but just make sure you be safe around fuel lines and all that good stuff. Alright, that wasn't as bad. Pretty good. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, since the flex sensor was like this, I'm simply going to take this fuel line and route it onto the flex sensor. Make sure it's connected. And now we can put it in our new filter. Alright, so we took off the tip here from the flex sensor. Now I'm just going to put in the filter. And I just have a regular hose clamp here to get it down. Gonna push that in there. There we go. And then just tie it down pretty tight, and then connect this end to the other side of the flex sensor, and we just pretty much have to relocate this, and we should be good to go. All right, now that we have the clamp all tightened up, I'm going to go ahead and plug in the flex sensor to the new filter. There it goes. That fits a lot better. Now we're just going to have to rearrange this because I can already see the placement will become an issue if I don't change it up a little bit. So hang on tight, and let's put this in a new place. Alright guys, so there is the new filter in its new location. I like it a lot better than the old one. And looks like in the midst of installing all this stuff, I scraped the wire loom cover on the for the ECU harness. But no big deal, nothing's damaged. But let me know what you guys think of this new location. I personally think it's a lot better, a lot smaller, a lot sleeker, and it's actually a better filter. So let's go plug our fuel system back in and get this car back up and running. Alright, so right now what I'm going to do is prime the fuel system, and a couple times, or maybe for a little bit here, until I hear the fuel pump, and then I'll try to start it up. So we'll see what happens.
Unit N.
I can hear the fuel pump going already.
GPS connected.
Alright.
Unit N.
Let's see what happens.
Unit
There it
N.
goes. I did have a CEL and I cleared it. I'm guessing the CEL happened whenever I was trying to get rid of the fuel pressure. Nonetheless, the fuel pressure right now is at where it should be idling. So I'm gonna give it a few reps, make sure everything's good, drive the car on the block, and let you guys know how it goes. All right, guys, well, there you have it. We have completed our fuel filter once again, and next time I should be doing the low pressure side fuel pump. I'm just waiting on a spare fuel basket that I ordered, and once that fuel basket gets here, we're going to be able to get our low pressure side completed, and then we're going to move on to the high pressure side. Of course, I'm probably going to do those two in the same day, but they're going to come out in separate videos. So looking forward to it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and smash the subscribe button. If you like today's video, go ahead and give it a like, and also follow us on the Facebook page and Instagram. And I like answering you guys' questions, so some of you guys' questions have actually turned into videos. So keep it up, guys. Thank you for supporting the content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.